Mondays and Fridays, Tally Solutions bring to you this hour where we talk about compliance, talk about tax, about corporate tax, and all your questions are answered. ये golden opportunity है आपके पास. अगर आपके पास कोई भी सवाल है तो ask पंकज से. पंकज जैन हमारे साथ एंड एवरी मंडेज एंड फ्राइडेज 9 से 10. इंपॉर्टेंट tallysolutions.com पे आप लॉग ऑन करेंगे, you'll get all the solutions that your business needs. एंड ऑल्सो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एक MSME ऑनर्स के बारे में भी आपको डिटेल में हम बताएंगे.
Absolutely. So, with over 2 decades extensive experience in India, Europe, and UAE, Pankaj specializes in entire gamut of taxation, that is corporate tax, VAT or GST, indirect taxation, transfer pricing, international taxation, tax controversy, management, and resolution. Pankaj also possesses a rich experience in tax litigation and has successfully represented clients' interest before various judicial forums as well. So Pankaj leads the team of Ask Pankaj Tax Advisors, and welcome to the show, Pankaj.
Thank you so much for inviting us over. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you for taking time out and coming in. So today, what is the subject that we would be highlighting?
So our focus is to address any of the queries that your audience would have. They can call in and ask the queries. And while also we will talk about certain critical issues for businesses. I know Tally and Talk has been doing a phenomenal job in terms of covering the tax topics and issues. I always joke that more than us, you are becoming the tax experts now. So our jobs are in thread now.
हाँ, we are like that Google who will provide that link कि आप क्लिक करो और ज्यादा जानो.
Exactly.
But सिर्फ एक महीना ही बचा है corporate tax. Our business is getting some cold feet as of now.
Yeah, this is true कि एक महीना ही सिर्फ बचा है, but I would say cold feet तो नहीं है for two reasons. Preparedness है, plus जो हम हमेशा बोलते आए हैं, स्पेशली दैट टैक्स का इम्पैक्ट अनलाइक VAT ऐसा नहीं है कि 1 जून को सब कुछ चेंज हो जाएगा. दिस इज अ टैक्स ऑन द प्रॉफिट्स ऑफ द कंपनी विच विल बी कैलकुलेटेड ओनली आफ्टर 12 months व्हेन योर फाइनेंशियल ईयर एंड्स. सो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि 1 जून को बहुत दुनिया बदलने वाली है. द बिजनेस विल बी एज यूजुअल. सर्टेन स्ट्रक्चरिंग विल बी रिक्वायर्ड and people have time for that.
Right. So now, will this change massively the way people do their business? Will they be more mindful of their spendings?
Indeed, yes. So it will certainly change how businesses are doing their operations for couple of reasons. As again, thing is that it would require, corporate tax requires a change in mindset.
Okay.
If we talk about UAE, which never had any tax in the past, so people are used to focus on their business operations, understand, okay, this is a profitable venture or a loss-making venture, and go on with their business activities. They have never been very, very particular in terms of documentation, in terms of accounting, in terms of accounting the transactions, maintaining the records of it. That will certainly change.
Right.
Because now tax authorities will have 7 years to audit, and for those 7 years, if you lose even a single expense receipt, theoretically that could be disallowed and the tax on that could be demanded, possibly with penalties. So maintaining those documents, maintaining those records, whether the invoice has been issued in the correct name, like suppose I am Pankaj Jain XYZ company. Earlier, I was still paying even if the bill says P Jain.
Okay.
I would not bother that my name of the company is not mentioned on the expense invoice. But going forward in the corporate tax regime, it is very important that the expenses are in the right company name.
Okay.
I cannot say that, okay, invoice is issued in the name of, let's say, my colleague Deepak here, but I am taking the expense deduction of it. So those minute or the meticulous documentation requirement would certainly change.
Right.
So, obviously, abhi aapne mention kiya hai, but what if it happens, right? By nature, you tend to forget or you make those common errors.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
So, उसके लिए
वॉलंटरी एक है ना ऑप्शन कि आप कर सकते हो कि यार गलती शायद हुई है मुझसे.
वो थोड़ा सा फर्क है. जो वॉलंटरी डिस्क्लोजर है या वॉलंटरी करेक्शंस है, उसमें भी पेनल्टी लग जाता है, स्पेशली इवन इन VAT.
मतलब हम सामने से अगर बोल रहे हैं हमारी गलती, तब भी
पेनल्टी तब भी लगेगा, शायद कम लगेगा.
ओके,
गलती करने का सजा तो मिलेगा.
हाँ, बराबर मिलेगा.
It is by mistake.
It is by, that is why it's a mistake, whether intention.
Correct.
So it's like just on a very lighter note comparing it. So when we talk about homicide, there could be a culpable homicide or homicide not amounting to murder, but the fact remains it's a homicide.
Right.
But yes, अगर कुछ गलतियाँ हुआ है उसमें ऑप्शंस ये है कि जब आप अपना टैक्सेबल प्रॉफिट कैलकुलेट करेंगे एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर, यू कैन स्टिल गो बैक टू द सप्लायर एंड आस्क देम टू रिवाइज द इनवॉइस. और if we take an example of VAT as a kind of a contextual reference, there might be a amount prescribed कि 10,000 dirham या 5,000 dirham से नीचे का expense invoice है, so name of the company is not that important.
अच्छा, बट यू कैन नॉट ऐसे नहीं कर सकते.
ऐसे नहीं कर सकते,
चाहे वो 1 दिरहम का हो, चाहे वो 1 लाख दिरहम का.
हाँ, क्योंकि अभी तक लॉ में उस टाइप का एक्सेप्शन नहीं आया है. सो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन रिक्वायरमेंट विल बी वेरी पर्टिकुलर.
नॉर्मली ये होता है ना कि आप फॉर एग्जांपल कंपनी का जो ट्रेड लाइसेंस है एंड देन बैंक अकाउंट जो नाम पे है वो काफी कभी कभी डिफर भी होता है, तो उसमें भी कुछ कंफ्यूजन्स आ सकते हैं.
और उसमें इनफैक्ट
फॉर एग्जांपल आस्क पंकज आपका ट्रेड है, ट्रेड लाइसेंस LLC, और आपका बैंक अकाउंट है आस्क और A.Pankaj.
या सो इट्स अ वेरी रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चन जो आपने पूछा है, क्योंकि इस टाइप का इशू अभी से आना शुरू हो गया है. जो जैसे अभी आज की डेट में VAT एज अ टैक्स है, तो बैंक अकाउंट का डिटेल जिसमें रिफंड आना है प्लस जो टैक्स पेयर का रजिस्टर्ड नेम है रिकॉर्ड्स में, दैट शुड डेफिनेटली मैच.
अच्छा,
अगर आप एक अकाउंट से इनवॉइस कर रहे हैं और दूसरे अकाउंट में पैसा ले रहे हैं, दैट कुड पॉसिबली क्रिएट अ ऑडिट इशू और द टैक्स इंक्वायरीज. So, उसमें काफी
तो ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. या बट देन ऐसे सिचुएशन में आप अभी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन जो है, हाउ डू यू प्लान इट दैट वे देन?
सो इसमें
जो भी इनवॉइस आपको आते हैं आपके ट्रेड लाइसेंस के नाम पे ही होना चाहिए.
हाँ, इसके लिए
बैंक में तो पैसे नहीं आएंगे.
नहीं, तो बैंक में भी पैसा लाने के लिए आपको बैंक के अकाउंट्स रिकॉर्ड्स अपडेट करने होंगे.
अच्छा, अपडेट कर सकते हैं.
अपडेट डेफिनेटली कर सकते हैं. प्लस आपका जो इंटरनल फाइनेंस टीम्स हैं कंपनीज का, उनको ट्रेन करना. सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर्स such as Tally Prime, so the accounting software would have the features wherein it needs to make sure that the documentation part is correct.
Right.
Just continuing with this topic of how the operations or business environment would change, I think one critical thing would change, and we all are awaiting decision on that, is the free zone operations.
अच्छा,
क्योंकि फ्री जोन ऑपरेशंस में अगर डिस्क्वालिफाइंग इनकम का कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया, वो अगर बोलते हैं कि अगर फ्री जोन एंटिटीज XYZ एक्टिविटीज करने की वजह से आपका जो बाकी नॉर्मल एक्सपोर्ट्स है उस पे भी 0% टैक्स नहीं मिलेगा, then they'll have to restructure their business operations. Because a very typical example we always cover, like we have written a lot of articles in Gulf News on that, is a manufacturing company in a free zone is manufacturing and selling the goods, but along with that it is providing, let us say, installation services. Now, as of now, it appears that if a free zone company is providing a service, तो वो disqualify होके उनका सारा टैक्स एग्जम्पशन 0 हो सकता है. तो अब वो सर्विस प्रोवाइड करने के लिए उनके पास क्या क्या ऑप्शंस होगा, तो उनको रीस्ट्रक्चर करना है.
Absolutely. Still in conversation with CA Pankaj Jain. We will continue this great conversation right after this.
Talk 100.3.
Tally Solutions every Mondays and Fridays आपके लिए लाते हैं टॉक कंप्लायंस, एंड दिस हैपेंस ऑन टॉक 100.3. विवेक और म्यूरल आपके साथ 9:12, एंड वी वर टेलिंग यू कि MSME ऑनर्स 2023. नाउ टैलीज MSME ऑनर्स एनुअल रिकॉग्निशन प्लेटफॉर्म है जो एम करता है टू आइडेंटिफाई MSME हीरोज और सेलिब्रेट करना चाहते हैं उनके एफर्ट्स. तो बहुत सारे कैटेगरीज है, जैसे बिजनेस माइस्ट्रो हो गए, वंडर वुमन हो गए, टेक ट्रांसफॉर्मर हो गए. सो आप उनके वेबसाइट पे जा सकते हैं tallysolutions.com पे. यूल गेट ऑल द डिटेल्स ओवर देयर. यू कैन सबमिट योर नॉमिनेशंस. यू कैन ऑलवेज नॉमिनेट समवन एल्स एज वेल. बट राइट नाउ आस्क पंकज टैक्स एडवाइजर से हमारे साथ पंकज जैन. गुड मॉर्निंग.
गुड मॉर्निंग.
आपने थोड़ा ऐसा दिल दहला देने वाला कह दिया अबाउट फ्री जोन कंपनीज को रीस्ट्रक्चर करना पड़ेगा इन टर्म्स की अगर क्वालिफाई या डिसक्वालिफाइड इनकम पे लग सकता है. यू आर सेइंग दैट उस पे क्लैरिटी आ गई है?
अभी नहीं आई है। इनफैक्ट हमारा पूरा वीकेंड हम मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस वेबसाइट को रिफ्रेश करे जा रहे थे, अब आएगा अब
पर
आएगा।
आपका विश्वास है कि
But
ये
it's more likely to happen.
Yes, it is more likely to happen. Almost every one of us, including the businesses and the free zone authorities, are eagerly awaiting. So that will be a form of a cabinet decision, which will specify what do they mean or cover under qualifying income, non-qualifying income, and if possibly a concept of a disqualifying income.
Okay.
So वो clarity अभी cabinet decision से आना
बट
बाकी है.
फ्री जोन का मकसद ही यही था कि टैक्स नहीं भरेंगे, राइट?
विच इज ट्रू एंड वो प्रॉमिस
रहेगा।
जब कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ तब से गवर्नमेंट ने मेंटेन किया दे विल ऑनर द टैक्स एग्जम्पशन,
क्योंकि आपके ऑपरेशंस बाहर रहेंगे, मेनलैंड पे नहीं आएंगे।
बिल्कुल।
But now with this kind of a news,
हाँ,
how
सो
are
यस,
we-
तो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। जैसे अब आपने बोला कि यहाँ पे एक बहुत सटल डिफरेंस है इन डिफरेंशिएटिंग बिटवीन ऑनरिंग the promised tax exemption and introducing a set of new tax exemptions for free zones. In fact, interestingly, my colleague Deepak has written an article in today's Gulf News only.
Achha.
It is up online today and hopefully in print tomorrow.
अच्छा,
That difference is very important.
Okay.
अब अभी तक आज तक मैंने कभी भी पिछले 6 महीने में किसी से ये नहीं सुना जब वो फ्री जोन्स की बात कर रहे हैं कि ये प्रॉमिस सिर्फ एग्जिस्टिंग टैक्स एग्जम्पशंस को ऑनर करने के लिए बात हुआ है।
ओके,
सो उसके लिए आपको अब जरूरी है ये आइडेंटिफाई करना कि फ्री जोन का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या था, फ्री जोन में ओरिजिनली अलाउड क्या था, और उस परमिटेड एक्टिविटी से ओवर एंड अबव अगर आप कोई एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं सो यू कैन पॉसिबली बी टैक्स्ड और यू कुड पॉसिबली बी डिसक्वालिफाइड फ्रॉम द टैक्स एग्जम्पशन। सो अगर फ्री जोन देखें जब स्टार्ट हुआ 100% ओनरशिप की बात हुआ, इंटरनेशनल ट्रेडिंग हब का बात हुआ।
ओके,
अब फ्री जोन्स को आप फ्री जोन में कंपनी सेटअप कीजिए और मेनलैंड कस्टमर्स को सर्विस प्रोवाइड कीजिए टू द बेस्ट ऑफ आवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड नॉलेज। ऐसा कभी टैक्स एग्जम्पशन का कॉन्सेप्ट कंसेप्चुलाइज ही नहीं हुआ था उस टाइम पे।
ओके,
सो अगर अब फ्री जोन कंपनी मेनलैंड कस्टमर्स को सर्विस देना शुरू कर देंगे देन इट कुड क्रिएट अ problem.
So if you're going to put these set of rules on the free zone companies in the free zones, now, moving forward, what will the process be? Yes, they will have to restructure their entire outline or the entire profile of their company, but will there now be an added cost to that as well for them?
Certainly. So if they are restructuring in terms of, let's say, kind of hiving off their service business into another entity, so there would be a license cost, visa transfer cost, the entire administrative accounting cost around that would become a problem. But that is a decision they'll have to take after evaluating what is a cost benefit analysis.
करेक्ट,
पता चले आपका सर्विस बिजनेस इतना क्वांटम वाइज वैल्यू वाइज इतना है ही नहीं, प्लस फ्री जोन्स के और बेनिफिट्स हैं या उसमें और देर आर लॉट ऑफ अदर कंडीशंस लाइक आपको सब्सटेंस मेंटेन करना है।
राइट,
सो फ्री जोन exemptions के लिए you need to have adequate manpower, you need to have adequate assets, you need to have adequate possibly the premises also to show that you are actually doing
Correct.
genuine business
Yeah.
activity.
एंड प्रॉफिट ऑल्सो अगर 375,000 नहीं पहुंचता तो दैट्स अनदर थिंग, बेंचमार्क एक रख
अरे
सकते हो आप।
आपने तो बहुत जो कहते हैं ना वो तड़कता भड़कता टॉपिक हटा दिया। अब इसमें तो जो कहते हैं ना आग आप लगा रहे हो। सो जब 375,000 स्लैब का बात होता है जिसपे 0% टैक्स नहीं लगेगा, दैट इज जनरली एप्लीकेबल टू अदर देन क्वालिफाइंग फ्री जोन। इन अदर वर्ड्स, जो एंटिटीज फ्री जोन टैक्स एग्जम्पशन के लिए एप्लीकेबल है, अगर उनका एक टैक्सेबल इनकम भी होता है तो पॉसिबली उनको 375,000 का बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा।
नहीं मिलेगा, तो वो जो 0% का स्लैब है वो लागू ही नहीं होगा।
तो सिर्फ 0% या सीधा 9%।
सीधा 9%।
तो 375 का आपको कोई बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा।
शाबाश।
ऐसे
फ्री जोन
at the
एम्प्लॉइज,
start, we
कंपनीज,
all thought it's just going to be 375. Then they came in 9%, and now they're coming in with different rules and regulations. So moving forward, what kind of tweaks is the corporate tax going to witness? I mean, or you are anticipating कि ये होगा आगे जाके?
सो एक सबसे बड़ा चीज जो आगे जाके होने वाला है वो आएगा कि जब आपके एक्टिविटी बेस्ड टैक्स एग्जम्पशंस मिलने शुरू होंगे.
अच्छा.
बिकॉज आप किसी भी कंट्री का अगर टैक्स लेजिस्लेशन देखिए, सो इट इवॉल्व्स विद द इकोनॉमी, द इकोनॉमिक नीड्स, द बिजनेस नीड्स.
बराबर.
ऑफ कोर्स यूएई में फर्स्ट टाइम आ रहा है, सो इट्स अ वेरी गुड स्टार्ट. द लॉ इज वेरी वेरी प्रैग्मेटिक, आई मस्ट से वेरी बिजनेस फ्रेंडली. बट जैसे जैसे एक्टिविटीज और इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज होगी, द बिजनेसेस विल स्टार्ट asking for a tax exemptions. Take for example, I'll give you just a general example. Singapore has a tax exemption on mega events.
Achha,
like a F1 race possibly, we'll have to check that.
Okay.
But is mega event, Singapore provides
like a concert.
Like a possibly a concert, like a concessional tax rate, a mega mega event. Like a expo. अब आप इमेजिन कीजिए,
तो गवर्नमेंट ही करती है.
बट गवर्नमेंट में भी अब वही आएगा कि वो सोवरेन एक्टिविटी है तो आउटसाइड टैक्स है, लेकिन अगर गवर्नमेंट बिजनेस एक्टिविटी कर रही है यूएई टैक्स में तो वो भी टैक्सेबल अभी है.
ओके.
सो अब उस टाइप का अगर कोई बिजनेस इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइजर है, गोइंग फॉरवर्ड सर्टेनली दे विल स्टार्ट आस्किंग फॉर अ टैक्स इंसेंटिव. सो उस टाइप के चेंजेस वी विल स्टार्ट विटनेसिंग इन 2-3 years फॉर श्योर.
यू नो, एंटिटीज की बात करें तो एक होता है कि आप कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स बोल रहे हो तो वी अज्यूम के कॉर्पोरेट्स को ही लगेगा, कंपनीज को ही लगेगा. नाउ तो बोल रहे हो आप इंडिविजुअल्स को भी लगेगा. तो इस पे हम डिटेल में डिस्कशन करेंगे. आपके सवाल जो है आप भेजिए 0586861003 या 800-81003 पे फोन कर सकते हैं. इस वक्त आस्क पंकज हमारे साथ है. दिस आवर इज ब्रॉट यू बाय टैली सॉल्यूशंस. लॉग ऑन कीजिए tallysolutions.com.
Talk 100.3.
9:24 on the clock. Good morning. Still in conversation with CA Pankaj Jain, and before we could go on a break, we asked you the question about corporate and individuals being covered under the the umbrella of corporate tax.
Yes, so that's an interesting thing. When we generally refer to this tax as a corporate tax, so it gives an impression that it's a tax only on the company. But if we even look at the actual title of the decree law, it reads taxation of corporations and businesses. So it's a tax on business. So even if an individual would be conducting a business in his or her individual capacity, that could get possibly covered under corporate tax. अब कौन कौन से बिजनेसेस जो इंडिविजुअल करते हैं वो कवर होंगे, उसके लिए ऑफ कोर्स एक कैबिनेट डिसीजन आना है. होपफुली इस वीक में आ जाएगा.
अच्छा.
बट अगर आपके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में जैसे हम बात करें एज अ आरजेज, इफ यू आर वर्किंग एज अ फ्रीलांसर इन एडिशन टू लेट्स से on your spouse visa or on your independent employee visa. So as individuals, you could be treated as conducting a business activity by doing the RJ activity. This could possibly make you cover under corporate tax.
But here there's
अच्छा,
a bit
मैं
of
इन्फ्लुएंसर बनने का सोचा ही नहीं. मैं रेडियो में ठीक हूँ मैं.
No, but there is a now here there's a bit of a confusion for me.
Yeah.
Because if individuals can also be covered under this under this bandwidth, what about income tax then? Because that, and my understanding on that also is quite similar.
So income tax is a tax generally on, of course, individuals, if you look at the global income tax principles, but it also then covers tax on salaries. So
पर्सनल इनकम टैक्स है ना,
जहाँ बात किया. तो UAE में अभी there is no income tax on individuals in terms of their salary income. So that's a big advantage, and it's possibly not expected also in the next few years at least. So that is a personal income tax. But when it comes to individuals conducting business activities, then the tax is on the business, not on the individual.
Correct,
so therefore,
correct.
Irrespective of who is conducting the business, the tax still remains, the corporate tax still remains on the business activity, and it is valid, so to say. And of course, like depending on the profile of the individual conducting the business, if they are eligible for a small business relief for next 3 years, or their net profit is less than 375,000, so the actual tax impact may still be nil, but they would be covered under the corporate tax net.
अच्छा, now we've got Sandeep Jadwani with us on the line right now, और corporate tax के बारे में थोड़ा सा वो जानना चाहते हैं. एक संदीप, hi, good morning.
Hi, very good morning to you. How are you doing?
Very good, Sandeep. पंकज आपकी आवाज सुन रहे हैं तो आप उनसे पूछ सकते हैं.
Yeah, lovely. This is related to smaller business. You just touched upon Pankaj. Now, smaller businesses, what would happen is that based on certain levels of revenues and profits, we could get some relief. But what if I were to take that my as a freelance, I would take money in my personal account? Will that still be susceptible to tax?
So, hi Sandeep, good morning. I think आपका question, there are two separate questions. One, if point is for any business activity you are receiving the money in your personal bank account, answer
As
is
a owner of the business, let's say.
so okay. So let's put it this way: you have a company or you have a business. I'll try to answer it in all three different possibility scenarios. If you have an incorporated company, whether in free zone or mainland, that's doing business, but you are receiving certain incomes in your personal bank account and not declaring as the company's income, that's obviously wrong and unethical. And if tax authorities gets to know about it, that could lead to penalties. Second situation, you don't have an incorporated company, you are conducting business as an individual, and therefore all the business receipts are coming in your personal bank account. If that business activity is covered as taxable under the cabinet decision, whether the money is coming into your personal bank account would not make a difference. You will be obliged to declare that for the purpose of corporate tax. The third aspect that you talked about, small business relief, whether it's a company or whether you as individual conducting a business, if your revenue does not cross 3 million dirhams up to the financial year ending 31st December 26, then you don't have to pay any tax irrespective of your profit or where you are receiving the money in which bank account. We hope that we have addressed your query.
Yeah, just a follow on that.
Yes, please.
Will it still require the small business to declare the revenues until 2026? Because in other tax jurisdictions, what happens, even if you're not getting enough, you just file your income tax returns, and if you don't fall under certain brackets, then you don't pay any tax, correct?
Yeah, so filing the income tax return even for small business reliefs would be important and mandatory. So you cannot claim a small business relief without filing the tax return.
Okay.
Superb, yeah, Sandeep. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
वैसे संदीप is very famous on Instagram and he gives a lot of financial advices as well. तो आप ज़रूर उनको follow कर सकते हैं Instagram पे संदीप जेडवानी के नाम पे. Right now news and sports and also आपके सवाल आप भेज सकते हैं. You can give us a call 800-81003 and quickly to remind everyone कि Tally Solutions के nominations खुल गए हैं for MSME Honors, जहाँ पे एक मौका है, एक platform है which aims to identify MSME heroes that exemplify this and celebrate their efforts. 4 categories है: वंडर वुमन, बिजनेस माइस्ट्रो, टेक ट्रांसफॉर्मर एंड ई-प्रेनर आइकन. इसके बारे में और जानना है तो tallysolutions.com पे तो आप लॉग ऑन कर ही सकते हैं. यू कैन ऑलवेज गिव अस अ कॉल एज वेल ऑन 800 टैली which is 800 टैली. सुनते रहिए.
Talk 100.3.
Every Mondays and Fridays, Tally Solutions bring to you Talk Compliance on Talk 100.3. विवेक और म्यूरल आपके साथ. आस्क पंकज टैक्स एडवाइजर से पंकज जैन से तो हमारी बातें हो ही रही है. उनके कलीग हमारे साथ होने वाले हैं, दीपक बंसल. बट राइट नाउ वी हैव गॉट सतीश मेनन विद अस ऑन द लाइन. हाय सतीश.
गुड मॉर्निंग.
हाय.
सॉरी टू कीप यू वेटिंग फॉर सो लॉन्ग. पंकज जी आपकी आवाज सुन रहे हैं, आप पूछ सकते हैं सतीश.
Mr. Pankaj, good morning. I had a query, like if I were to acquire a company which is having accumulated losses, is it permitted for me to set it off this year, or can it be even rolled over to the next years?
So, Mr. Satish, good morning, and thank you for asking the brilliant question. If you are acquiring a company right away because the corporate tax has still not triggered in, which will trigger in from 1st of June, any accumulated losses before entity becomes a taxable person will not be carried forward in any case. So the accumulated losses incurred up till 1st of June 2023 or depending on the financial year up to 31st of December 2023 will not be allowed to be carried forward. Taking that discussion forward, if you plan to acquire a loss-making company in the future once the corporate tax regime sets in, then yes, you would be allowed to carry forward or merge those losses into your other tax group companies.
सुपर पॉइंट है सतीश. मतलब आप एक लूप होल ढूंढ रहे थे बेसिकली. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू सो मच.
In fact, what Mr. Satish asked is a very relevant question, because if we look at any other country, not just India, acquiring a company which has accumulated tax losses is actually a very good business proposition.
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
when you talk about the price tag that you should put on the company being acquired, the accumulated tax losses work as a discount, because that's the incentive the acquiring company will
How
get.
much can you merge with your existing one is another question, but then smart people have got smart solutions.
Yes.
जैसे tallysolutions.com आपके सारे business solution आपको मिल जाता है. But Satish, thank you so much. Anything more?
Thank you. No, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Superb.
Alright, right now we also have Deepak Bansal. Now, for over a decade, Deepak is a practicing chartered accountant and specializes in financial taxation, secretarial, corporate advisory, and compliance matters with vast practical experience and insights into diverse business practices. Now, Deepak has been servicing many Indian and multinational clients, so his area of expertise includes advisory, tax litigation, and compliance. Now, Deepak also handles diverse clients from a wide array of businesses, which helps him gauge the intricacies of each business and an outlook for audit and tax scrutiny. Deepak is also a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He also holds a bachelor's degree in commerce from the University of Delhi. Welcome to the show, Deepak.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. इतना बड़ा इंट्रोडक्शन दे ब्रेक का टाइम आ गया. But दीपक, a pleasure to speak to you as well. बहुत सारी चीजें आपका recent article के बारे में हम जानना चाहेंगे. Quick थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में, and then we'll continue that. What is that article about today?
Actually, that article is about the qualifying income to qualify as a free zone entity for tax benefit purposes. We are just 3 weeks away from the introduction of corporate tax, and everybody is waiting with their bated breath as to how the qualifying income will be defined for a free zone, and especially as Pankaj rightly mentioned in your show only, that free zone is not just the taxpayers, the free zone entities, the free zone companies, the organizations that operate the free zone. All of them are waiting very eagerly to know what will qualify as a qualifying income.
Correct. तो इसके बारे में डिटेल में हम बात करेंगे. पंकज जी आपके भी पॉइंट्स इनपुट्स लेंगे. क्विकली याद दिला दे कि tallysolutions.com पे आप लॉग ऑन करेंगे तो MSME ऑनर्स 2023, दिस इज द थर्ड ईयर इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, और 3 साल से ये हो रहा है, जहाँ पे आइडेंटिफाई किए जाते हैं MSME हीरोज जो एग्जाम्प्लीफाई करते हैं उनके एफर्ट्स. नाउ एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, क्रिएटर्स, स्मॉल एंड न्यू बिजनेस ओनर्स, इंडिपेंडेंट बिजनेस लीडर्स, दिस इज अ चांस टू शाइन. नॉमिनेशन सबमिट कर सकते हैं. 4 कैटेगरीज है. यू कैन ऑलवेज गिव अ कॉल ऑन 800 टैली विच इज 800-82559. 15th May is the last day, so do the honors at MSME Honors.
Talk 100.3.
So ask Pankaj Tax Advisors. हमारे साथ tallysolutions.com bring to you this amazing hour जहाँ पे हम corporate tax के बारे में बात करते हैं. तो Pankaj, you had some points to say about qualifying income.
So just to add to Deepak's point and how the Tally software can help. So in the article in Gulf News, what Deepak talks about is the concept of proportional taxation, which is there in India when it comes to special economic zone, as we talked about Singapore, event-based incentives. So in the free zone in UAE, when we talk about qualifying income and non-qualifying income, so qualifying income at 0%, non-qualifying income at 9%, companies will have to maintain within their entity a separate proportional income, how much is taxable, how much is not taxable, and what are the proportionate expenses for that. So that is something very important for companies and finance teams to realize. And this is a place where accounting softwares like Tally would come in handy to maintain that you have robust accounting principle and proportionality to showcase your taxable income to the authorities.
Amazing.
Right. Now, so what about freelancers, people working on NOCs or sponsorships even that don't require to be...
Indeed. So as we talked about that, the taxation is on businesses. So freelancers conducting a business activity, if covered by the cabinet decision, would have to register for corporate tax and submit their tax returns.
Right.
I hope and I wish that all freelancers are earning more than what the small business relief threshold is. So if they are crossing the 3 million threshold, then they'll have to also pay the tax and calculate their taxable profit. The question that needs to be addressed here, and I must highlight, when corporate tax kind of was introduced, the law was introduced, the concept was introduced. Of course, there was a lot of talks around that freelancers would be covered under corporate tax. The Ministry of Finance in their public media have put out a kind of a clarification saying it's not that freelancer as a category would be covered.
Okay.
Only certain activities that would be prescribed by the cabinet decision conducted by a freelancer could be taxable. So we'll have to see, like as a RJ or whether as a cricket coach or whether as a music performers, what all activities would be covered under the tax net.
Which is amazing.
This is something that we are waiting for.
That's something we are waiting for, and we are hoping that this week that decision should be released. Because it's about 3 weeks left.
Deepak is also with us from Ask Pankaj Tax Advisors. We were talking about it. Detail में अगर आप समझा सके for free zone qualified and non-qualifying, and what is that purview they need to keep in mind कि शायद ये अब taxable हो सकता है, वो clarity.
So, free zone essentially established with an intent to
Tax benefit,
to create an international hub, to set up Dubai and UAE as a whole as an international trading and manufacturing hub. It is expected that the intention with it to establish like the trading activities, foreign trade within the free zone, manufacturing and selling of goods outside the UAE, such kind of activities may get classified under the qualifying income category. But as Pankaj mentioned earlier in the show, activities like provision of services may, I don't, well, it's anybody's guess right now.
Yeah, जैसे दीपक अभी कि एक ई-कॉमर्स कंपनी है, फ्री जोन कंपनी है, उनके सर्विसेज है, मानता हूँ कि सर्विसेज मेनलैंड में है, तो उनके लिए क्वालिफाइंग इनकम, नॉन क्वालिफाइंग इनकम का कुछ आता है कि इज इट ऑल इनकम इज क्वालिफाइंग इनकम फॉर देम?
Very important question and interesting one. So अगर ई-कॉमर्स कंपनी है एंड फ्री जोन में है, बिकॉज वो फ्री जोन में उन्होंने क्यों सेटअप किया? बिकॉज दे वांट टू अवेल दी कस्टम ड्यूटी बेनिफिट्स, कि जब वो फ्री जोन में लाके होल्ड कर रहे हैं, दे डोंट हैव टू upfront pay the custom duty. So free zone में सेटअप करना is not because of corporate tax incentive but because of the custom duty.
Nice.
Then comes the second part कि जो ई-कॉमर्स कंपनी है वो अपनी सर्विसेज किन को प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, and I'm assuming that they will have a mix of customer. They might be invoicing their service charges to certain overseas suppliers which should qualify for 0% tax. They might also be charging or providing the similar services to certain domestic customer or in the UAE, whether within free zone or mainland. That will be a non-qualifying income. And the spice in the discussion would be, just because they are catering to a domestic businesses also, there is a big question mark whether their export income could also get taxed.
Correct.
तो उसका clarification अभी आना बाकी है.
Now, for example, real estate also, Pankaj, are owned by individuals, correct? Yes. The rent that they collect now, will this be taxable to them?
Yeah. Awesome question. And I must, before answering, give a caveat. I'm answering based on what frequently asked question were released by the Ministry of Finance. Again, the cabinet decision is yet to come, but with those caveats, I like to highlight a very interesting aspect or the observations in the FAQ.
Okay.
When it comes to incomes earned by the individuals and which is generally not taxable, the FAQ says and lists down various categories of income. So when it comes to dividends, savings, interest from saving deposits and all, it's been categorically said that it will not be taxable. But when it comes to income from real estate, the FAQ answers by saying that such income from real estate will generally not be taxable. So the expression generally not be taxable kind of gives a inference, or we are at least inferring, right or wrong, that the cabinet decision may put out a condition that under certain situations the real estate holding or the rent from real estate could become taxable.
This is very interesting because कि बहुत सारे family businesses और आप कहते हैं कि individuals hold these activities without the license as well. Now देख रहे हो कि बहुत events, बहुत exhibitions यहाँ हो रहे हैं. A lot of talent coming in here and earning as well. वो भी परव्यू में आएगा. इन दिस वील टॉक अबाउट दैट. लेकिन आपके सवाल 808-1003.
Talk 100.3.
Monday and Friday is Talk Compliance on Talk 100.3 brought to you by Tally Solutions. Power of Simplicity. Log on कीजिए tallysolutions.com and आप जानिए more about MSME Honors. इसके बारे में जानना है आपको, नॉमिनेट कर सकते हैं अपने आप को, अपने दोस्तों को, अपने एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को, क्रिएटर्स को. 800-82-559. That's the number. 800 Tally. That's 800-82-559. 15th May is the last date.
Amazing. And right now we are in conversation with CA Pankaj Jain and also Deepak Bansal. They are in our studios, talking to us about tax compliance, talking to us about the way forward. And especially this is just right around the corner.
Right now, real estate की बात की तो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट आपने रेज किया पंकज की. बट दीपक आपसे पूछेंगे, as a company, if I have another business, लेकिन I am holding real estate properties as well. अब मैं वो property बेचता हूँ या I get rent from that, is that also taxable?
Exactly. This is actually very interesting because जो भी assets एक business hold करते हैं, a company hold करते हैं, that will be deemed to be a business asset. So any income derived from that business asset will be taxable, will be treated as a business income of that company.
लेकिन मेरा काम ही कुछ और है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं ऑयल एंड गैस हूँ, मैं बैंकिंग हूँ, मेरा रियल एस्टेट इज नॉट द कोर. वो तो बस मेरे एम्प्लॉयज को देने के लिए, एंड देन आई टेक अ सब्सिडाइज्ड रेंट, तो वो भी टैक्सेबल हो जाएगा.
So, आपके एग्जांपल में मैं एक छोटा सा ट्वीक करूंगा, बिकॉज ऑयल एंड गैस एंड बैंकिंग हैज अ सेपरेट टैक्स ट्रीटमेंट अंडर कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स. बट लेट अस से अ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी जो
टेक्सटाइल
कंपनी मैन्युफैक्चर कर रही है और उन्होंने एक रियल एस्टेट मेंटेन किया हुआ है. So irrespective that these are two unrelated activity, but वो तब भी business asset माना जाएगा.
Amazing. So we're going to hold on to this conversation a bit longer. We have Kevin online with us. Quickly, let's get to his call.
Hi Kevin, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
जी Kevin, आप सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. पंकज and Deepak are listening to you.
Yeah, very good morning to you. Hi Pankaj, hi Deepak.
Hi.
Good morning, Mr. Kevin.
I just had a query. See, I sponsor my wife. She's under my sponsorship, but she's a freelance tour guide for the last 10-12 years. Now, would her income also come under, as she's a freelance tour guide, would her income also come under this corporate tax?
Yes, it's likely to come. Of course, once the cabinet decision is out specifying what are the activities conducted by individual that are covered. If let's say a tour guide activity is covered under that cabinet decision, the fact that she is on your sponsored visa or she's practicing the business activity as an individual capacity, it would still be taxable. Then once it is taxable, she'll have to register and file the tax return, but possibly she can claim two benefits depending on the revenue levels. If it is not exceeding 3 million, you can claim a small business relief, which means no tax to be paid. Or if the net profit of that business is less than 375,000 dirhams, then again no tax needs to be paid on that.
Okay, but if she has to register, how would she register? Because she doesn't have a company or she doesn't have anything. She's freelancing just on a personal name. It's just word of mouth.
Brilliant question, sir. So even if she does not have a company, the FTA portal, the tax authorities portal, allows individual also to register on the FTA portal, which is called MRA tax. So if you go on tax.gov.ae, you will come on a there is a button called e-services. You click on that, and then you can create your individual profile and register for corporate tax.
Great.
ठीक है Kevin.
Thanks Pankaj.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. बट बहुत सारे सवाल आई थिंक अभी भी है लोगों के मन में जो सॉल्व आस्ते आस्ते आई थिंक क्लैरिटी आ जाएगा. But you would suggest कि people go onto the website and get more clarity on.
Absolutely. So just to add and kind of if I can make a mention. So Gulf News, with whom Ask Pankaj has been associated, just like we are associated with Tally. So Gulf News is taking a lot of initiatives on spreading the tax awareness. They have already conducted tax events. They have conducted workshops, webinar series. Of course, they are doing all these articles, brilliant articles on taxation. And they are now coming up with full day tax events in all the three Emirates, Sharjah, Abu Dhabi and Dubai in the coming weeks, where people should attend and kind of understand what are the implications of tax on them.
So before you leave, just one question.
Yes, please.
Is small businesses now the relief that we've been talking about? Is this going to be temporary or will this also be continued in the future?
Interesting.
2026 तक है उसके बाद
First thing, open
है ना?
offer after 1st of June 2023. All the RJs could join us in our tax consultancy services. But in addition to this job offer, answer is yes. Interesting question. It is indeed temporary as of now. It has been slated up till financial year ending 31st of December 26. So we are talking about essentially 3 financial years. And after that, it's unless it is extended, this relief will go off. So even then, if a company who's earning a profit of, let's say, just a revenue of just say 200,000, they might still have to undertake the tax obligation.
And I think ये questions never ending है. Tally Solutions really thank you कि हर हफ्ते ये awareness create करते हैं.
Indeed.
अगर लोगों ने पूरा ये घंटा मिस किया तो नो प्रॉब्लम, फ्राइडे को ये रिपीट होगा. दीपक और पंकज जी ने जो सवालों के जवाब दिए उसकी क्लैरिफिकेशंस आपको फिर सुनाई देगा ऑन टॉक 100.3. याद रखिए MSME ऑनर्स इज ऑन. यू कैन नॉमिनेट क्रिएटर्स, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट. उन्हें जो ऑनर देना चाहिए, यू आर एबल टू डू दैट. यू कैन नॉमिनेट देम, यू कैन नॉमिनेट योरसेल्फ एज वेल एज अ बिजनेस. MSME ऑनर्स के बारे में ज्यादा जानने के लिए tallysolutions.com पे लॉग ऑन कीजिए. पंकज, इट्स ऑलवेज अ प्लेजर, एंड दीपक, गुड टू नो यू एज वेल. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग टू द स्टूडियो.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
inviting
so
me.
much.
It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
With Vivek Sanil and Muriel Desar. Talk 100.3.